Hello, Bible readers. It's Monday, December 21st. We're reading from 2 Samuel chapters 8 through 10, Psalm 50, 53, 60, and 75, and then Acts chapter 26, verse 12 through chapter 27, verse 12. In 2 Samuel chapters 8 through 10, we see David expanding his kingdom's territories, an essential part of understanding why Israel will, for centuries after, look upon David's reign as something so extraordinarily great. He expanded their territory. It reads more like an archive list than a story. That's okay. That's part of what Scripture is. These victories, we need to understand, they come over many years. It's not a chronological history, like first he beat these people and then those people and then those people. It's not meant to be a chronological history. So it's important to note we've gone from defense of a promised land to empire building. That's a big difference. And we need to know, as it says a couple times, the Lord gave victory to David wherever he went. And we've talked about this before, there is a cooperation happening between David and David's Lord. As for officers, there's this list at the end of chapter 8 of officers, who's serving David. There's a transition happening from loyalty to one's family and tribe to a loyalty to king and kingdom. That too is an important transition. As we've read for books and books now, that tribe is where loyalties predominate. And now it's going to be a loyalty to the king and the kingdom, at least for a while. And then in chapters 9 and 10, we're coming up on a dramatic succession narrative. Who and how will someone follow David? That's what the next 10 or more chapters are going to be about. And the next time we read from 2 Samuel, it's going to be about Bathsheba. A familiar part, but you can see how, this is quite a change of pace in this story, going from such a faithful servant of the Lord to what's about to happen. The Psalms, of all the groups of Psalms that we've read, there wasn't a psalm that really captured my imagination this time around. Maybe I shouldn't cloud them as you read them. Maybe you find them to be really inspirational. But Psalm 50, maybe this was used to renew a covenant, or maybe it was used for instruction. Psalm 53 is actually almost identical to Psalm 14. Some think that maybe this very similar psalm just appeared in two different collections that both got into the Psalter. Very few differences between them. Psalm 60 is a communal lament. Its structure and theme make it hard to interpret. The bottom line with Psalm 60 is that human help is worthless compared to God. And then Psalm 75, also hard to interpret because it's not clear exactly who are the wicked. We do know they shouldn't boast. One guess is maybe it's the Babylonians who are the wicked. There's lots of guesses. Acts. This is Paul's last major speech, also his longest speech. Assembled before him this is a pretty impressive audience he has, the Roman governor, the Jewish king, their entourage, and the nobility of Caesarea. So, Paul's put himself in a position to be heard by some pretty important people. They all hear his story and his proclamation about Jesus. Luke paints, as he's been doing throughout his gospel and this book of Acts, a very Greek-sounding, Greek-feeling story with Greek tools. Just the way he tells the story would be in keeping with the way Greeks told stories at this time. But in the end, it's very interesting here, Luke has Paul reassert two very un-Greek ideas. Assertions that would not have landed well in Greek circles. Number one, a crucified Messiah is raised from death. This is not going to be something easy for Greeks to swallow. Number two, that Paul is first and foremost a Jew. That Paul claims his Jewishness over and over. By sticking to this identity for Paul and placing his gospel and Acts in such a light, Luke shows he's not just playing to the crowd. Paul really seeks the conversion of people to follow Jesus as Lord. And that is Luke's primary motivation and priority. The rest of what we read in Acts today is trouble at sea. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. I am one with my God. My God is with us, all of us, at all times and in all places.